All right, let's talk about softboxes. Hey everyone, my name is Reynolds. Welcome back to the channel and Happy New Year. So today we are going to be comparing 6 different size softboxes ranging from 65 centimeters all the way up to a massive 170 centimeters. So if you're a complete beginner or you already own a softbox but you're not sure yet which one to buy next, then this is going to be really helpful for you guys. So the way we're going to do this comparison is I'm going to bring in my friend Joe. We hired a studio out last week and Joe is going to sit in the exact same place. She's not going to move. I'm going to set up my camera on a tripod. The only thing that's going to keep changing is the softbox we're using. So you're going to see what difference it's going to make as we get bigger and bigger in softbox size and shape. So just a few things to remember. Every single photograph was taken with the Canon 5D Mark III with a Canon 100mm macro lens. The aperture was f5.6, the ISO was 200, and the shutter speed was 1/160th of a second. The modifiers were placed between 4.5 and 5 foot away from our model Joe. Every modifier has 2 layers of diffusion attached. I shot 2 photos per setup, which was a medium close-up and a close-up. And lastly, we used a light meter to make sure we had accurate exposure. And if you want to learn more about how to use your light meter, then click the link up there and that will take you to my video, which is 3 reasons why you should be using a light meter. All right, let's get into the first setup, which is the 60 by 60 square softbox, which comes in at around £60. Now this is the only setup that I'm going to be using a speed gun with. The other setups we're going to be using a different flash, but for this one we're going to be using a speed gun because this is a great kit if you're a complete beginner. This whole lighting setup right here, it comes under £250, so that would include a basic light stand, a trigger, a flash gun and the softbox itself. It also comes with this. So as you can see in the video, this slots into the gap there so that the speed gun can then go inside the hole here. Now what's really nice about this little adapter is it has these Bowen fittings here. So this allows you to use your speed gun in any Bowen's modifiers. So this is almost future-proofing you for your next softbox because all the softboxes after this are gonna be the Bowen's fit. It's not gonna fit into that hole, it'll be these Bowen fits. So if you are a complete beginner, you've never bought one before, if you go for this kit first, then you're setting yourself up to use your speed gun on any modifier. A great tool, I use it for the Pika 200s as well. So once I got a meter reading at f5.6, I took one shot, and then I picked the camera up and moved it slowly forward so that I can then get another shot, but a tighter close-up so that we can really zoom into the image and see the catchlight in Joe's eyes. And you'll also notice that the softbox itself is at a roughly 45-degree angle, which every modifier is in this comparison. So the next softbox we're going to look at is the 65 centimeter rice bowl shaped softbox. Now it is a Bowen's fit, so we are going to change the flash. We're not going to use a speed gun anymore. For the next setup and for the rest of the comparison, we are using a City 600 Pro. Now I realise that it is only a 5 centimeter increase, but the shape of the modifier is different to our last one. So what you are going to see a difference is in the catchlight. You might not necessarily notice too much of a difference between the 2 photos, but what you will notice a difference is the catchlight. Now some photographers are very particular about the shape of that catchlight in the eyes. Me being one of them. I do like a circular catchlight in the eyes, so that is the biggest difference between these two. This softbox is more durable, it's stronger, and I do like the circular catchlight in the eyes, and it's only £10 dearer, so this softbox is only £70. So the third modifier we're going to look at is the 90 centimeter parabolic softbox. If you know this channel well, then you'll know that the 90 centimeter is my go-to softbox for traveling. It's my go-to when I'm just generally doing environmental portraits. It's not too big and it's not too small. If you haven't seen any of my travel work on this channel, then please click the card up there and that will take you to my playlist of all of my travel work where I have used this 90 centimeter softbox so you can get an idea of what you can get when you take it out on the streets. Again, everything's going to stay the same. The meter reading is going to be 5.6. We're going to make sure that that's the same. And we can now start to see some differences now between the 65 and the 90. When you look at the 90, you can see that the light is wrapping around Joe's face a little bit more. The shadows aren't quite as harsh on the unlit side of the face. And we can also see the background is a little bit brighter as well. The softbox itself, it's not too big and it's not too small to travel with. I mean, I'm biased. You know I love this softbox, but that's just my opinion. You might have a different opinion. So let's go to the next one. So the next one we're going to look at is the 120 deep parabolic softbox. Now this isn't a normal softbox. This is a deep parabolic, which means it's a longer softbox. And what's good about this is that it's able to chuck the light forward without spreading left and right like a normal softbox. And what's good about this is when I used it recently on my ballet shoot, if you haven't already seen it, I'll leave a card up there, you can go and check that out, is if you want a wider shot but you don't want your softbox to be in shot, then a deep parabolic softbox is great for that, because then you can park it out of frame and it will still chuck that same gorgeous soft light forwards without spreading left and right. So in this setup, we used it here. So this is slightly bigger than obviously our 90. But when you look at the comparison, again, you can see that because it's channeled, because it's kind of closed in, you can see all of a sudden that background has gone a bit darker again. And that is because it's a deep parabolic shape. So if that's something that you want, then maybe this is the softbox for you if you like to kind of control and angle that light. Yes, of course, you could use a grid on your softbox, but this is nice about the 120s. You don't need a grid. It looks like that straight out the bag. So it gives it a lovely quality. It's a nice warm and soft light. So this is the 120 centimeter deep parabolic softbox. Our next modifier is the 150 centimeter softbox. This is my go-to modifier when I'm in controlled studio environments. When I know that I've got a studio and I'm not traveling around or I have to get it in and out of the bag like I am when I'm traveling, then this will typically be a good go-to, because again, it's not as big as the 170 as we'll see in a second, but it still gives me a nice, gorgeous, soft light without having to go even bigger. Again, looking at the comparison between all of them so far, you can see that that 150 just wraps around even more than the 120 and the 90. And you can see that that background is getting even brighter still. Those shadows are getting softer and softer as we go bigger and bigger. In fact, I used it on a previous tutorial, which is 5 ways to use one softbox. If you haven't already seen it, I'll leave a card up there. Just click the card right now and you can check out my 5 ways to use one softbox. And finally, the last softbox is the 170 centimeter beast of a softbox. I used it last year when I was photographing a World War II veteran. And if you haven't seen that behind the scenes, then I will leave a link up there. Just click that link and that will take you to my behind the scenes using the 170 centimeter softbox. Okay, so this thing is huge. I literally have to climb inside it just to get it open. But once it's on and once you take your shots, you can see that it's the softest light in this list. I mean, it has to be. Both this softbox and the 150 centimeter softbox are both great softboxes if you want to recreate window light anywhere. If you're in pitch black, then these two are great softboxes to create that nice natural window light. If you want window light, you've got to go big. That's the way it is. The softbox has to be bigger to create that more of a natural light. But if you want more of a dramatic light, then maybe you want to go for a smaller softbox. Bigger isn't necessarily better. Depends on what you're using it for. Next. Again, we metered it 5.6. I got the 2 shots, and you can see, looking at this comparison chart, we can see a slow progression in the softness on the shadows on Joe's face as it goes higher and higher and higher. So that's all 6 of my comparisons I said I would give you, but I do actually have one more to show you. Bear with. I remember this guy I mentioned earlier. Remember I said that you can put your flash gun in, and then with the Bowens fit you can use any modifier in the future. We're going to put the speed gun back in this, and we're going to put the 170 centimeter back on here, and we're going to compare what it looks like with the City 600 versus a speed gun. So I just want to kind of prove a point. You don't need necessarily the City 600 Pro in order to use a 170 centimeter softbox. As big as that is, you don't necessarily need a City 600. You can, if you want to, use your speed gun. But here's a comparison. So we can see here that the 6600 Pro does give you a slightly better color. We can see that the Lion 580 ETTL gives you a sort of a green tinge there, whereas the 6600 gives you much warmer tones there, which to be fair is to be expected. However, this is something that you can correct very easily if you mess around with your white balance tool later. So in conclusion, which one do you go for? Well, as I said earlier, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. If you want something more dramatic, then you're gonna need a smaller softbox for those harsher, more dramatic shadows. If you want something more window-like feel or natural light, then you're gonna need something around the 90, 150 or 170 mark to really give you that nice natural feel. But if you already own a softbox, then I would maybe go for at least 30 centimeters higher for your next one to really see the difference. So for example, if you already own the 60 centimeter, I would jump to at least the 90 centimeter to really see the benefits and the differences between your current softbox, if that makes sense. Well, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you liked it, please make sure you hit that like or share button, or subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon to keep up to date whenever I upload new videos. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.